Hi everyone, my name is Katrina Chadwick and I am here to talk to you about crocheting and all the crafty things I've been up to. I am sorry I have been absent for a bit. I haven't been uploading videos since last June. I've just realised I can't say last month now. And today is, I will give you a date just for a point of reference. It is Tuesday the 11th of August. So I haven't been on and I haven't filmed all of July. Now, the reason for that, and I'm going to sort of, not explain because I feel like I have to, but I'm just going to say why. So we hit a year since our son Sydney has passed away. So I gave birth in July of 2019 to a stillborn son at 30 weeks, and I did say that here on my videos afterwards. I had a bit of an absence around then as well, and we've been healing pretty well, but grief is grief and it's going to flare up, and you can have moments at any time, at any point in life. It doesn't matter how far away it is, and we were celebrating his first birthday, and that's how I'm choosing to look at it, is that every year on the 12th of July it will be his birthday, and we're just going to have some sort of little celebration within our family. So this year we went out in the afternoon and we had a really nice day together with our two boys that we have, and we had a really nice time, which was really good. And I didn't realize, but I was having a really tough time in the 2 weeks before his birthday. So I was really getting anxious and nervous and quite upset and didn't understand why or what was happening. And I realized once we had gone through the day on his birthday, I realized the next day that it was that my grief. I was so anxious that we do something for his birthday that I was putting way too much pressure on me and my husband, and he was going through his own grief journey as well. And in the end, the day was lovely. It wasn't overly spectacular, brilliant, because unfortunately we don't get to have our son. But we felt very happy with the day that we had and the way we remember him. And we'll just go on from here every year. But because of that, I didn't do a video in those 2 weeks before his birthday. And then since then, I tried to film one night and it was too dark and it was just bleh. So it just didn't happen. So this is where we are. We're going to start back in August again and get going. So I've had about a month. I'm pretty sure it's a month, but it might even be a bit more. But about a month of makes here. So I have 10 finished objects. And today's video is purely just for me to show you my finished objects, what I've made, where I've gone with them, how that's all gone. And then I will put up another video because we have had the big wool show here in Australia. So with COVID, obviously COVID-19 is happening everywhere. Coronavirus is a massive thing. And in the state I'm in, New South Wales, we are not in lockdown as such. We are just socially distancing, self-isolating if you need to, if you're going to display any symptoms or signs, even if it could be something else. We're just getting ourselves tested and put away straight away. Whereas in Victoria, they're full on lockdown. Don't go out, don't do anything, because they've had a run with numbers for people getting sick and then for people passing away, unfortunately, as well. So all that to say, and I've lost my train of thought. I was saying with coronavirus, yes, due to the coronavirus, total brain fart there. So because of that, we haven't been able to have any of the wool shows. And in Victoria, they have the Bendigo wool show and they call it the Sheep and Wool Show. We were going to go this year. It was going to be in July the 17th, and it just didn't happen. So instead, they did the big wool show online, and they created a YouTube channel for it, the organisers of the wool show that is, and they did a virtual shop experience as well for a weekend. So I think it was the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so 3 days. And so I'm going to do another video about that as well. Yes, that's me hightailing it back to make my point. So I'm going to show you the 10 things I have finished. Now, I don't have all of them on me, but I do have my iPad with me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the things that I don't have with me that I've either gifted or I've sold, passed on, I will show you on my iPad, if my iPad chooses to work. Oh, I had it signed into Ravelry. So the first one is a Amigurumi teddy. Now it's a bunny rabbit doll, and I got the pattern off Pinterest. It was a free pattern, and I was trying to use up some stuff in my stash, which has been the theme of me getting into 2020. I wanted to use a lot of the stuff that I've been gifted or given in the last year or two that I just don't get drawn to first off. So I made a point of pulling out something and then trying to make something with it. So with this one, I used some, I'm pretty sure it's like a polyester fluffy sort of chenille yarn, and I made this. So I hope you can see that. It just left, but I hope you can see that one there. So it is the classic stuffed bunny, and if you look up that on Pinterest, it'll come up. It is by One Dog Wolf, and I will link all the patterns as well down below. So that was my first finished project. That was one that I made, liked, thought it was pretty, but I thought it would suit a newborn baby, and I don't know anyone currently who is pregnant or about to have a baby. So what I did was I listed it on my personal Facebook page and just said, if anyone's interested, would you like to buy it off me? And I had someone who was having a christening that weekend and said, oh yes, I'll definitely grab it. So that was awesome. And then I made another of the velvet teddies. I don't know if you remember, but in my last video I showed a velvet yarn amigurumi teddy bear using another free pattern off Pinterest, and I had posted that on my Facebook page as well, and somebody really liked it and had asked me to make them one as well. So I had some more yarn and I had to get some more brown, but that is the teddy. And that one there is going to it's not the best photos, unfortunately. I'll show you again. But this one's going to another baby. I think the baby's due in December, but they just saw it and said, I'll put it aside for them, which is lovely. So I'm really happy with that, because a couple of my makes and some friends that I've not recently met, but I've known them for a while, but I've recently had them added on Facebook. They've been able to see what I've been making, and it's been really, really good. So they were the two that I don't have. And then I'm going to show you these because I don't have these either, but I have made some more of the simple seed stitch beanie. Sorry, I'm looking down, I'm looking at my iPad to make sure I get the right patterns and things. So I made two. The request was for 2 black beanies, and I got some new yarn. I was on the Bendigo Woolen Mills website looking for some yarn to finish off my husband's blanket, which I will show you in a minute, and I found this yarn. It is called Haze, H-A-Z-E, and it is in the Midnight Mix, and it's a black, but it's almost a charcoal grey mix. It's not really quite as dark as a black, mixed with a red, and it makes quite a nice simple seed stitch beanie. And I'm hoping that goes down well. It did come out slightly different size to the other one I had made, which is this one here, just in plain black. And for this black one I used Lincraft Veronica yarn. It's called Veronica. It is a worsted weight, yeah, it's a 10 ply or worsted weight yarn, just plain black. I think that's even just what it's called. And I'm making the extra large men's size in those beanies, so they're both the same size, even though one's turned out slightly less than the other. With the Bendigo Woolen Mills, the black with the red mix through it, it was an 8 ply, so I just held 2 strands double. I got a pack for $10 and had 4 50-gram skeins in it, which I thought was really good. I used 2 of them completely, 2 of the skeins, and I started on the second 2 and probably used up 2 or 3 grams. It wasn't very much, it was just enough to finish the little edging on the brim. So that's really good, and I'm really happy with that. Then, so that's all the stuff that is purely I have to show you through my iPad, but otherwise I'm just going to show you the other finished projects. So I finished a shawl. I finished a couple actually, but I have a skein of yarn left over so I can show you what it looks like. And unfortunately it is falling apart, this one. My kids have gotten to it, but this is the skein. But I was using Kamana yarn, and it's a European collection yarn that Lincraft is currently stocking, and it's 100 grams. It's in the Ocean Mix. It's made in Turkey. It's 50% wool, 50% acrylic, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's got a beautiful halo in it as well. So it's all in mixtures of blues. It's tonal, it goes from a light to a dark blue. It says to use a 4.5mm hook. I think I used whatever the pattern recommended, which was like a 5 or a 5.5, I think. And I would say, because it does change thickness, it goes from sort of anywhere between an 8-ply to a 10-ply in the thickness of the yarn itself. I would work with it as if it was a worsted weight yarn, just because of the halo as well, and it gives you a little bit more definition in your stitches. Otherwise you won't really see too much between all the fuzz, and you won't be able to frog it as well. So yeah, Lincraft yarn. I used 6 balls of this. I bought 8 because this shawl scarf is called the Tassel Shawl, and it is a free, no it's not, it's a paid pattern that I bought in a booklet from Lincraft, and I bought this. And so because it recommended this yarn, I bought this yarn, but it recommended 8. I thought it was big enough at 6. I haven't weaved in my edges, so I'm sorry, but this is the big shawl. So it's enough that I can wrap it around my shoulders and keep myself nice and warm and cozy. So it's big enough for this, but I could also wear it as a massive oversized shawl. Big wintry one, and we are in winter currently in Australia, so it's been cold. We have been having anywhere from -2 to -8 overnight temps in the last week and a half, and last week we had 2 days where the wind chill made it -8 during the day, which is really rare. We don't usually get the -8 during the day. It usually warms up just a little bit, but it's been quite cold for the last week and a half. We get 2 to 3 weeks of really freezing cold, almost snow-like weather in the midst of our winter, and then it starts to warm up for spring. So perfect shawl scarf for winter. So it's all in the blues. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know if I'm going to gift it. I'm starting to think about my Christmas presents for teacher gifts. My son's in kindergarten and I have a preschooler, so we do have half a dozen people that I like to give gifts for. I am trying to do sort of small gifts that I don't have to do large ones every year, but I do find that with all that's happening this year, I think everyone needs something extra special. So it could be a gift, but it's okay. So that was the first shawl I finished. And then I finished, yeah, I'll go with this one. So I finished this cute hippo, and it is all fluffy and hairy because I have cats. So it's got little bits of fluff, but it is an amigurumi, and I used a new cotton yarn. So I put in an order the end of May. I think it was May, but it might have been June. Maybe it was June. Early June, I put in an order for some yarn. It arrived and I wanted to try it out. I bought something that I knew I liked and I wanted, and then I got this as well. So this is Milano Cotton Sport. I don't know the color because it just says color 23. It's 100 grams. And that gives you 187 meters or 204 yards. 100% cotton and a 4mm hook. I would say it's an 8-ply. Even though it says cotton sport, it is pretty close to an 8-ply, like a light DK. But yeah, so I used the hidden stitch too with Amigurumi, where you throw the loop behind or back rather than with the way I crochet, rather than bringing the yarn back over the hook around it. I was going instead over it, and it gave this really neat tight fabric. And that's all the purple is that Milano yarn, and I think it's quite nice. It definitely works out well for this, for Amigurumi. I think it would be nice in scrubbies or face washes. It is a nice cotton. It is a little bit splitty, but I think that's just the nature of cotton. I found it was really nice to work with. And then with the whites, I just got my stash and found some extra white 8-ply that I had for these little bits, and then I just put some safety eyes in there. So I will get you the pattern. I will have to look at my iPad. So this one is, I think it's just called the Amigurumi Hippopotamus. Yep, Amigurumi Hippopotamus by Grace and Yarn. And I'm pretty sure this is a free pattern on her blog. I'm pretty sure it is. And you can get a paid PDF pattern as well. So I found this through Ravelry, and then it's sent me to her blog, I'm pretty sure, as well. So then there's that one. She her hippopotamus that she shows in her pictures is a little bit, I think, bigger than this, but that's just because of the ply in the yarn. So it is, I've just checked, it is a free pattern. So there's that one. Really like it. Grace and Yarn, the designer, I haven't looked into the actual lady. I'm assuming it is a lady named Grace, but it might not be. I have made the hippo, the bee, and another one, potentially the reindeer, I think it is. And I loved the Amigurumi patterns, and I will keep going. So whenever I have an inkling to make Amigurumi now, I think I'm just going to head to her patterns because they are really, really good. They're really well written and they explain what's happening, which is good. So then I'm going to go with something completely different and show you a pillowcase. So I bought, I'm going to hold it up, Lincraft Loops yarn, and it is a novelty yarn with the, I think it's polyester. Let's have a look. Yeah, polyester attached to like a string or a piece of fabric, and then it creates little loops and has a gap and then creates a loop. So it's all about finger knitting in this one. So I made like a basket weave stitch, a pillowcase. So it's just one big rectangle. You fold it in half, seam the bottom straight away, and then you just do up the sides on this one. I already had the pillow insert. It was an old pillowcase that I took off and then put this on top. It just sits on my lounge in our bedroom. We have a little seat couch. So it is in navy, and I would not buy this yarn again. Whilst I think it's awesome for a novelty yarn, really cool, something to try, I did not like that you couldn't see the stitches. So I'd recommend using a lighter color, but in that instance the lighter colors just didn't work for my bedroom. I think there was only 4 or 5 colors that you could pick from. And with this one you get 14 meters with the ball. It's 200 grams, and it was a free pattern on the Lincraft website. So lincraft.com.au will get you that pattern. Same thing as always, I will link stuff in the bottom. So love the pillowcase, it's great. It'll sit on my couch until it gets really yucky and can't do anything with it, and then I'll change it up for something else. But for now, really nice, looks good. I'm chuffed with the way it looks, but just not happy with the yarn itself. Won't be making anything else with loops yarn, but I knew going in that I only was buying enough to make that project, and that was it. And then I'm just making sure I haven't missed anything, looking down at my iPad. So then we went to a friend's house and we had to go past a Spotlight. And I bought Yarnspirations Karen Skinny Cakes. Now I'm sure most people know these ones. So the skinny cakes are 250 grams and you get 727 meters. I got the rainbow colorway, which is amazing. Well, I just realized that there was a pattern on the ball band. I wonder if it's crochet. Yes, it is. So I'm going to keep that. There's quite a nice looking shawl on the ball band. I'm going to keep that for the pattern. Anyway, so I used my rainbow to make a long asymmetrical shawl scarf, something that can be worn nice, big and bright. Might keep this on, it's getting a bit chilly actually, I'm sitting outside. So this is a pattern called Lean On Me. I've got to just look up the pattern designer. Stitch with Passion. Now Stitch with Passion, the person who runs it, the lady who runs it, the man who runs it, I don't know, sorry, apologize. I have just found them on Instagram myself, so I'm sussing out who they are, and they saw that I had made this and loved it, and they said that it was lovely and bright, and it made their Monday, because I shared it Monday, which is yesterday, because it's Tuesday. I've just sewed in the ends. I've had this made for like 2 weeks, but just sewed in the ends and managed to take some photos yesterday, and it's just nice. So haven't washed it. I don't know how the wash and wear is on Karen Skinny Cakes, but I would buy another Karen Skinny Cake for blankets and for shawls and scarves because it was really nice, and I found the colors in it were really nice as well. I was just really drawn to this rainbow. I was feeling Pride Month at the time and I fitted in really well, so I got to make myself a Pride shawl scarf, and this one's definitely staying with me. I don't care if I only wear it once, which I doubt. I'm sure I'm going to get lots and lots of wear out of this. I'll just wear all my neutrals underneath. And yeah, so I'm really chuffed with that. Pattern was good, well written. I had started to make it and I think I finished about 15 rows ish, and I had put it down and started another project. When I came back to it, I didn't have my hook in my bag. Rookie mistake, I know. So that was a bit of a pain, and I ripped it back to like the second or third row and then started again. So that worked out really well. Just by ripping it back, it was easy, and then just kept going, and I made this I was a bit monogamous, and I worked on just the one project to get it finished, which was really good, really good. So this one is a paid pattern. I bought it through Ravelry, just so you know, and you can buy it there. I don't know if it's on Etsy as well. I have not looked, so apologies for that, but you may be able to find, if you find Stitch with Passion on Instagram, you might be able to see if they've got a link tree to show you where you can get their patterns. So last two, getting on. The other one is, I'm going to show you this because I finished this first out of the next two. I finished a Habitat Cardigan. So it is, it's not, I've just realized that I can't really show you, but it is in a lovely Spotlight worsted weight yarn. It's 4 Seasons is the brand. The actual yarn's called USA Spot Saver Yarn. So it's a 10 ply, comes in 200 gram balls. It's like a bog stock standard that everyone loves to buy here in Australia. I'm on a couple of Facebook groups for crocheting, and everybody that seems to love it at the time. It was on special probably 2 months ago when I bought the other yarn I was talking about. I kind of bought a bit more. Sorry, not sorry. And I bought this, and this is called Peacock, the color. I will get you a better photo with me wearing this because I'm not going to put it on now and fiddle. But it's the Habitat Cardigan, free. It's by Make and Do Crew. and I was tossing up between 2 different designs, and I just couldn't work out which one I wanted to do. So I did this one. It's by Jess Copham of Make and Do Crew. Just getting this photo up to show you. And ignore my face, but that is me in it. So I'm quite a tight crocheter. So I used a size 6mm needle, which I think is a J, and so 10 ply yarn with that, and I was getting under gauge. Now that's fine because I've already made 2 of these before. So what I had to do was I made the rectangle for I think it was the medium large size. Yeah, so it was small to medium, medium to large, large to extra large are the 3 sizes. I made the medium to large for this in the back piece, and I think I made that and left it as it was. I just put some pins, stitch markers in the sleeves where it says to join from the rectangle to make that, and I had to do 1 or 2 less stitches to seam it up to create that armhole so that it was comfortable enough, because I have quite broad shoulders, just to have enough space so that I could get a bit of a broader range of movement. And then I had to, once I made this tush section, I actually had to widen it. So when I put the markers because it folds together and creates 2 triangles on the sides of the rectangle once you create the arm sleeve, and then you create a tush section, I can say this because it's all free pattern, underneath. I needed to widen that slightly so that it would actually cover my bottom, because got a bum. It's okay, no dramas. Just gotta live with it and just gotta know. So I widened it a little bit, but then it recommended 13 rows, and 13 rows wasn't enough to come right down as far as I wanted. So I think I made it between 15 and 20, just give it an extra length. So I made it longer, and then I did a little bit more of this. So this is the, what would you call that? Like the cowl, the neck. I can't use my words today. The edging, let's just say edging. It's the edging around your back of your neck, and it comes all the way down. It's all one big piece, and you work it back and forth. It says to have 24 rows and 12 of these bumps in the edging, and I did about 15. So I added on about 6 extra rows just so it comes in far enough. What I did, because I know with myself, I wear a lot of things over and over again and they stretch, whether it be handmade or any sort of knit, whether I've bought it from a shop. So I made it so that it would fit around comfortably, but over time, if I hang it up on a coat hanger in my wardrobe, which I know you shouldn't do with these knit items, but occasionally I forget and I do hang it up with my other stuff, and it might stretch or drop, and that's fine. So I've made it so that I can hang it out, say on the washing line as is, and it will drop out. If I were to make it as baggy as the pattern, the way she's written it, or the way it looks in her photos, I would have need to have made the large to extra large sizing to get it that baggy. I was happy to have it a little baggy, but not as much as she has it. You'll understand if you see the photos or if you've made the pattern. It's just one of those things. I haven't sewed into all my ends on this one, but I love it. I've already worn it. I wore it on Sunday to lunch, which is awesome. And then my last thing that I finished, so I will give you, my last one is the Seaside Stash Busting Blanket by Coastal Crochet. It is a free cowl that she had up on her on her website. Her name is Eleanor Tully of Coastal Crochet, and I found the pattern on Ravelry that I wanted. It took me to her blog, and it's set up in weeks to do the cowl. Easy. I didn't complete all 35 weeks, which she has written there, because I didn't want it as long. She makes it long enough to fit on a single bed for length, and then it's just wide enough to drape over really nicely. This blanket is for my husband, and he wanted something to sit on the lounge with. to be able to snuggle on under, and something to be heavy so that when he's cold he can have it over the top, but with that sensation of weight as well, he'll just fall off to sleep. He loves, I need to buy him a weight blanket. He really loves it. So I have used Bendigo Woolen Mills Rustic, and this is just one of the colors. I didn't bring out all of them because I actually used up the rest. This is what I've got left. So this is their Rustic in Hermitage. It's an 8-ply, 100% wool, and I used a 4mm hook, which was what the yarn recommended, not what the pattern. I didn't go off that because the pattern itself was just giving me a rough guide to work off, and it said to use any. So I have this one. Now even though it says here warm hand wash, I did put it in my washing machine on a gentle cycle, and I laid it out to dry, and I pinned it out to dry because I wanted it to be stretched out and to be in exactly a rectangle shape, because early on in the piece I did make a mistake and my edge kind of wobbled in a little bit on one side, but with my border you can't even tell. So you won't be able to see all of it, but it is, oops, no, that's the back. I use this scalloped edge, and I've used 5 colors. So we've got Hermitage, Marine, I think there's an Earth is the brown, Forest is the green, and I think this lighter cream, light brown cream is Stone. So I used 5 colors. I used 200 grams. Quite a large blanket, so it's 200 grams in each ball for the body of the blanket, and then I needed to get more, so I was going to use originally the blue and the red on the border, but when I ordered it I could only get the red. The blue was on back order, so I haven't gotten the blue as yet. I'm still waiting on it because, as it turns out, Bendigo Woolen Mills in Australia is now selling 3 kilos of yarn per hour to customers. It's crazy, and I don't know if it's the per hour or per sale, but it's intense. They were saying that they are going in overdrive for not a small company. They're quite a decent sized company in Australia for milling yarn, but they do the whole production themselves, and they have a shop front, and they are part of the Sheep and Wool show, which I said before. But they have just done amazing during COVID and lockdown, because everyone's taking up knitting and crocheting and any sort of yarn hobbies and crafts, and it's great to see. So I don't care. I have no qualms with it coming a bit late, but I haven't used it in the end, and I just used the red, and I used another half, so that's half the ball there, and I've still got half left, so I'll add that into something else later. And yeah, so I am super happy. I can show you an older photo of what it looked like when it was sort of 3/4 done, to give you an idea of stitch pattern and definition. My husband didn't care what colors I used where, so I just picked up what I felt like when I wanted it and just added it on, and I think it looks smashing. I finished sewing in the ends last night, and I added the border last night. So I'm super chuffed, because it usually takes me ages to finish blankets. Like, I'm talking years, like a year, and this one was about 6 months. So, and with all the different stitch definitions, I don't know the size, I just know that it'll cover a large size man, tall and broad. But that's a picture just for an idea of what is happening. So that is the Seaside Stash Busting Blanket. So thank you for watching. That's my 10 finished objects through the last little bit, and it's been getting me through. Crochet has really saved me and saved my sanity with all this staying home extra and being extra cautious. Yeah, the stress and the strain from keeping my children safe and explaining to my kids and taking on the worry. I've used crochet as a great tool, a therapy tool, which I'm glad I was already told not to feel guilty about by my psychiatrist when I had Sydney pass away. She told me to use crochet as my therapy, and I'm so glad, because a year later, and it's amazing, I can make all sorts of amazing things. So I hope everyone is looking after themselves, especially with mental health. Obviously that's the big thing on my mind at the minute with my mental health, so I'm hoping everyone else is looking after their own. If not, sending you big hugs virtually, not in real life, because I don't want to hug lots of people, but big virtual hugs. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Bye.